Welcome to the FitMama podcast, where it's all about gaining your health back as a busy woman and mom, and doing it without sacrificing time with your family or business. Here is your host, mompreneur and FitMama health coach, Angela Campbell.
I'm super excited for today's podcast. If you are getting to catch this live and you're here with us right now in our Facebook group, say hi, let us know that you are here. And then also say hi to Erica. You guys are going to get to meet Erica today. I'm super stoked because if you are in this group, you see a lot of the women having success and sharing and doing all the things in our group. Well, FitMama Coaching is a big part of that, and it is growing, and we've got so many amazing women that are on journeys together. And Erica we are blessed to have Erica able to come on and join us as a coach, because she's going to share her story and her background and all the things today. But I'm super excited because FitMama Coaching is growing, and more women are realizing they need help, and more women are accepting having that help, and this group is a big part of it. So if you're in here, definitely say hi. If you're catching this on a replay, same thing, say hi and say welcome, Erica, for sure. And today's episode, you're going to get to meet her. You're going to get to hear about her biggest roles, how she's going to help us here at FitMama Coaching, but more so just get to know her, the person, the woman, the mom. She's going to share some of her roles here at FitMama Coaching, but more so some tips as well. She's got some tips that she's going to share with you, coming from her experience, not only as a coach and a trainer for many, many years, but also as a mom. She's got two little ones that she's going to tell us all about today. So if you're catching this, also know this: we're here to help you. And that's where I want you to get to know us, because so many women we get to talk to on a daily basis, they're tired of failing. They're sick and tired of failing and trying to do this on their own and trying to do this fad diet and this fat diet and all the things that are out there. To me, the world of today has become really confusing of what works and what doesn't. And that's where we are here to really just simplify the process. So if you are at that point where nothing's working, I'm realizing I need help, just set up a free call with us. There's a link above if you're here watching. If you are catching this later on the podcast, you can just go to our website. It's acfitmama.com/chat, and just set up a time for a free call and maybe figure out if maybe we're a fit. And if we're not, we'll at least maybe shoot you in the right direction to something else that might be a good fit. So again, say hi to Erica in the comments. And if you're listening to this later also on the podcast, if you're like, what group are they talking about? You need to join us, which you can, same thing, go to our website at acfitmama.com/Facebook and just join our group. It's for all women, all walks of life that are on a health journey whatsoever, right? So, but inside the group, we get this question a lot. Like most people, they're seeing women posting the results and how they're doing the things, and they're shrinking their belly fat, and they're finding ways to get healthy while they're being a mom, and they're juggling growing a business or a job or all the things that are going on. Which to me, the question I always get is, how can I do what she's doing, right? So again, chat with us, get on a call, shoot us a message, all the things. But do know that, one, you're not alone, and two, if they can do it, if we can do it, so can you, right? So we're going to definitely share those things with you. But here's the thing: before we get into learning about Erica, there's some pretty amazing women that are in our group, and they're doing some pretty amazing things. So I do love to always start with some shout outs. So first, one big, huge, warm welcome. If you're in this group and you know Echo, give her some love in the comments, tag her, let her know that she's loved, and we're welcoming her back. She's been through the 12-week program with us, had phenomenal results, and has now come back to do some just take it to a whole nother level. So first, say welcome to Echo in the comments if you're in the group. And then also I want to give a big shout out to Alma. Alma is in our coaching program, and again, doing phenomenal, coming up to the end of her 12 weeks. And she has made such leaps and bounds, not just in her physical appearance, but in what she does now and how she has put herself back on the priority list, which is phenomenal. And she's lost 4 inches in her waist. Hello. Say congrats to Alma. And then Kyla, I want to give a big shout out to her as well today too. She is coming into the close of her first 2 weeks and just did her first progress check and down 3 pounds already, and just doing phenomenal. So again, cheer these women on if you're in this Facebook group, because that's what it's about. None of us can do this alone, right? So big kudos to them, but let's get to it. I want them to hear from you, Erica. So let's get to it. First, you guys, again, Erica is a new coach at FitMama Coaching if you're just hopping on. And so if you would like to just take it from there, Erica, just tell us about you, your family, just tell us about yourself.
We good? You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, great. So, like Angel said, my name is Erica Bevel, and I have been in the fitness world for about 7-8 years. And through that, I've grown a family and a business and everything, all the ups and all the downs, still learning, and but been through some stuff mentally, physically, after having 2 children. You definitely learn a lot from when you are, in your 20s, working on your fitness, and then in your 30s, after babies. So me and my husband are both in the fitness world, and we work from home, and our babies are almost 3, little boy's almost 3, and my baby girl will be 5 months. Can't believe it, on the 4th. So in 3 days, she's growing way too fast. So that is my family background, and then the business stuff. Like we've always, so the last 6 years, we've been full-time into fitness. So it's been quite the adjustment with mixing that all in to our family life with the kiddos.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. And I remember us walking around doing the business that we did together in group fitness, both pregnant. So to think how big they're getting already, like, it just blows my mind that he's about to be 3. Oh, and mine will be 3 shortly after that. My gosh. So tell me about, how did you get started? What is your background in fitness? I know you do the group fitness now, but what did you do prior to that?
So really 8 years ago is really whenever my husband and I, we kind of buckled down. So he was coaching and coaching and teaching. I was I actually have a degree in horticulture, fun fact about me. So I was working in that life, in that career field. And we honestly were just living a very unhealthy life. And it got to a point to where my family's background and history is, we've got diabetes, high blood pressure, all that stuff. And so it just kind of really started hitting me pretty hard, like, hey, I should probably start taking life seriously if we actually want to grow a family and do anything, like make a difference in this world. And that was probably the time, or not probably, that is the time where I started like getting back to, I grew up very religious in church, and kind of went through the college days, but I started really honing back into my faith and just praying and asking God, like, what is my purpose? And that kind of got me in the direction of better things, which started with our fitness. So me and my husband started out together, working out, just getting our fitness, our health back on track. Through that, so we started with running. Running is a huge passion of mine. If you know me and you've been following me for a couple of years, like back in the day, I was a very avid runner. But that got us back into started for me. He was in the coaching career already. But for me, as far as my career, that jump started me into that path. So once we got ourselves right, got on track, that's whenever I realized, okay, hey, I really love this. I really enjoy it. I want to now help other people, become a better version of themselves. And then that landed me into some group fitness, and then the rest is kind of history. But that's what from there, that's where it all started. And then through that, having 2 kids, definitely after first baby, which I'll talk about later on in one of the other questions, it's more particular, but coming back after baby number 1, and just the differences in the first child, second child, my mental health is huge, and something I'll talk about later on. But that's my background in fitness and how I got here today. So I
love it. I'm
very blessed and happy on my path. And
yeah, maybe my connection. Like I said, mine has been so in and out. So yeah, I love that you mentioned two things that really stand out to me, and it's something that I hear a lot of women as well, like not necessarily getting into the fitness industry, but getting healthy because they realize, their health is a priority so that they can take care of their family, and they have a history of all the bad things in their family. They don't want to go down that road. So I love that actually led you to fitness. I didn't even know that about you. So that's super cool. What would you say is your biggest struggle, like your own personal struggle? Because we are human, we're coaches and we help women, but I feel like it's very important for them to know that we are human and we have our same struggles that we help others with. So what would you say would be some of your biggest struggles that you face in your own health as you are a mom and running a business and doing all the things that you have to juggle as well as trying to get healthy?
Yeah. Definitely, that's where, so after my son was born, it was probably, this sounds bad, but please don't take it this way. It was a huge growing year. I'll say that. That's probably the best way to explain it. It was growing and challenging that first year, because prior to having kids, I was very, like, honestly burning it all every end. And I tried to continue that throughout his first year life. And that was the biggest struggle for me, and like mentally knowing, so I did that, like I kept burning and going in all different directions, but I was neglecting me. And I really I knew that, even though I was eating right, I was exercising, I still could not lose weight after baby number one. And first of all, like after having your first child, I feel like it's you see all these things and you hear all these things and everyone says all the things, but it's actually everybody's different, I believe. And for me, with up here, like it wasn't right up here, so it didn't connect until I got my head back right, my priorities back in line, and kind of like fell to my knees and just gave it all back to God. Nothing really clicked or connected. And even I had people even mention to me later on, like, hey, something changed during this month where I saw a difference in you. I saw a light about you again, and it was like you were back to your old self. And I was like, yeah, I had to take a minute and step back and get my mental health back on and get, back into my prayer routine, all that stuff. Journaling was huge for me. But I would say that's, even now, now having two littles, I have to realize and like recognize, like, hey, you need to get back, like go back to God and get in your journaling, really focus on your mental health. So that's huge for me.
Yeah. And I feel like us as being coaches, like that's one of the top things I think we realize we really end up helping other women with too. Cause I mean, anybody can do a workout, anybody can follow maybe some sort of diet, but I truly believe if this is not being also worked on, your mindset, your mental health, it's so like the weight loss will not come if you don't have this in the right place. I remember going through that after I had our second little one as well too. Like I got in a really bad funk and nothing was working. Even my body wasn't working right because this wasn't in the right place. And once that did, and I put God first again as well too, like then everything else aligns. It started coming back in line. So I love to hear that, because I know the women in this group, in the Fit Mompreneur group that do FitMama Coaching, that's what it's created for. It's for busy women that have that are there in the place where both of us have actually experienced and gone through. So I think what drives me. So that's the next question, actually. What drives you daily to be a coach and want to help other women going through what you went through as well?
Yeah. And that is what drives me to do this, because I know, like, I remember after having my first child, like, I remember how lonely I felt, honestly. And that was, let's be honest, I'm being honest to myself and to you guys, I'm going to be transparent here. Like, that was it was me. Like, it wasn't you, it was me. Like, I was hiding from that. I hid from a lot. I just didn't tell people that I needed help. And so I want to be that coach that, maybe you can't tell your friends or whatever, but I want to help you to where you can tell your friends, because you need to ask, like, as moms, I think there's this huge thing out there, on Facebook, on Instagram, you see everyone's highlight reels. Everybody's life looks really good. And whenever you get into that bad place of comparison, which you should never do, but let's be honest and real, like, it happens. You need to have a coach in your corner. And if I would have had someone, if I would have stopped and asked for help, I think I could have already grown past. But I'm definitely thankful for the struggle of the growth, because now I'm able to help others. And it just makes it like whenever I see moms that are struggling or in the same situation, it's just a huge change whenever you go from your career, whatever you're doing prior to kids, and then after, for me anyway, after baby number one, like, and people tell you, oh, you can still do this, like, at the same capacity. Some people can, and that's great, but for me, like, I know that I had my baby for a reason, like, God gave me a baby, and it just, my priorities kind of shifted. So
yeah, no, that makes 100% sense, because for the longest time I feel like you and I are probably on the same page on so much of this. That's why I feel like this is going to be just an amazing fit, because I feel like we feel like we can do everything, and then we try to do everything and be super woman, super mom, super entrepreneur, super this, super that. And it's really easy to not ask for help. And I think a lot of us have learned the hard way. So if you're at that place right now and you're listening to us, definitely, like I said, set up a call with us. It's a free call. Just figure out maybe something that we do will help you, or maybe not. But at the same time, you are not alone. And it can be a really lonely feeling if you don't let others know that you do need help. And it doesn't make you any less of a woman or a mom, I think, asking for help. More than anything, it's a really positive thing. So how would you say I know you kind of touched on this a little bit already, but how would you say your faith fits into your life and your health?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the root of it all for me. I know that whatever I'm doing, like, I have to give it all to God first. He's what keeps everything level in my life. Whenever I'm trying to do it on my own, whenever I'm trying to do it my own way and figure it out on my own and try to collect all the resources on my own. Whenever I'm trying to do it on my own, that's when I can't. That's when my life is not balanced. That's whenever I'm either working too much or not spending enough time with my kids, or maybe I'm just burnt and tired and don't want to do anything and unmotivated. So giving it to him first and keeping, like, God is what keeps me balanced. If my purpose, like, he's got my purpose, if I'm not working towards his will, it's not going to work. So whenever life does get crazy, like, I really have to stop, and it's a discipline thing for myself, because I take on too much and I try to do too much. I overpromise sometimes, and then I, like, have to step back and be like, okay, I hear you, God. I need to slow down. I've got to do this because it's your plan, not mine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. So that brings us to the last question. Tips. What would you say are some of your biggest pieces of advice for any woman that's currently struggling to find time, especially when most of the women in our group have a business and a career and a family and all these things. And the last thing on their list is to work out or take care of themselves. So what would you have as your biggest pieces of advice for any woman that's listening to this, struggling to find time for themselves?
So I recently read a book lately, and there was one sentence, I'm going to read it off my notes, but it said, prioritize what God has put in you. So I really feel like that is just the key and the ticket, and it stands out to me completely, because if you're prioritizing what God has put in you, you've got a family, you've got a career, all that stuff, like, in order to do all that stuff, you better be taking care of yourself so you can prioritize what God has put in you. Because if you're not taking care of you, you're not going to feel motivated. You're not going to prioritize things in the right order. So you've really, like, just the ticket is taking care of you. Sometimes that doesn't mean go work out. That doesn't mean don't eat carbs. That means you have to take care of this right here first and foremost. If it's not working, if it's not in a good spot, nothing else is going to be.
Yeah, so prioritize. And I feel like that's such a simple thing, but at the same time, it's so hard for women. And as you know, as you're working with women, and then every woman that I speak to, it's the number one thing. It's not that I don't know what I'm doing or how to do it. It's that I cannot prioritize myself and my health. And like Erica said, you guys, if you're listening, like one of the biggest things I feel like she mentioned is this up here. If you are not right up here and you're not working on this up here, it doesn't take hours upon hours. It can be something as small as like creating a habit of spending 10 minutes by yourself in the morning before you start everything else. It could be spending 5 minutes in prayer in the morning before you start your day, if that's your thing. Maybe it's, reading for 5 or 10 minutes. I've got some women that journal in the mornings. Like whatever works for you, I feel like that's the thing most women struggle with, is just putting it on our priority list and not feeling guilty about it, right?
Yeah. And it's a lot of times too, and it's definitely easier said than done. Like, yeah, that sounds great, but how? And that's where, like, and now going through, having 2 children, I'm not saying I have it all figured out by any means, but I do know, and I can now recognize, because I'm in a much healthier space, but I can recognize it now and be like, okay, I either need to ask for help or go do this, but I have to take care of this in order to do anything else. So.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And I think we have to, as women and moms, realize we can't feel guilty for putting ourselves first, because if we don't put ourselves first, we're not really showing up very good for our family or for our careers or for your business or whatever it is that you got on your plate. If we don't take care of us, we're not going to function or be very successful at any of the other things that we're trying to do in life. And it takes a mindset shift. And that's where I think it's so important to have the accountability of a coach. I know you work with a coach yourself, a life coach. I have a couple coaches myself now, because I realize the importance of it. If I want to help other people, I got to be working on me on a regular basis, or I'm not going to even show up very well as a coach, much less a mom, a wife, or anything that I do, to be honest with you, if I'm not working on myself, right? So prioritize for sure. I love it. Is there anything else that you would love to say before we close?
I mean, really just that, and just don't be afraid to ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness at all. I know society kind of puts that on moms, but it's really not. If you're not asking for help, you're really hurting your whole family. So, but yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, thank you so much. I couldn't agree more. And ladies, ask for help, whether that be in the group, whether that's one-on-one, like reach out to either one of us. Like we will chat with you. And if you are in a place where you need help, that's what we're here for. And that's what we're doing. And I know both are women of faith and passion for helping women in fitness. And we have been in your shoes, and we are not perfect. Like Erica said, I'm totally not. And I'm still struggling every day to do it. But I've realized the number one thing is to prioritize myself and ask for help. And that's so hard, I think, for a lot of women, but ask for help and ask us for help. We would love to at least chat with you, set up a time to call, to do a call with us. There's a link above if you're watching us in the live stream, or like I said, again, go to our website. It's acfitmama.com/chat. Schedule just a free call. We can at least at minimum figure out what you got going on, give you some tips to get you started, or hopefully maybe lock arms and work with you one way or another. I know we would be honored to do so. So again, thank you, Erica, for coming on and sharing with us today. Say welcome to Erica in the comments if you're watching this now or later on in the replay. And like she said, biggest piece of advice, ask help and put yourself on a priority so that you can be the best. I know you want to be the best for your family. So prioritizing yourself is so freaking valuable and so important to do that. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us this Thursday. Every Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time in the group, we live stream. And then it's also on our podcast that following Monday. So you can catch the replay there, catch the replay in the group, or join the group if you're catching this later on the replay and you're not in it. acfitmama.com/Facebook, and we'll see you on the inside. You guys have an amazing rest of your Thursday.